Yo! What is good, people? Happy Friday to you. I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope you've had a chance to make some noise this week and upload said noise to the public feedback queue so we can listen to it today. Drop your links early. I have a funny feeling. Might be a little busy because we didn't have a Feedback Friday last week. Didn't have streams last week. Central's here! Let's roll up to the top of this chat. See what's going on here. Dremia first today, homie. How are you? Always good to have you here, dude. Menin, welcome in. Rockhound. You are a gazelle. You're amazing. A majestic gazelle. You are correct, indeed. Baby Rage, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Central, has this week treated you well? I've been thinking, I've thought several times this week about the fact that you've completed what you can with the EP right now, and you're just kind of like in this holding pattern, and just been kind of thinking about how good that must feel. Big ups, homie. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Andy, I have a random question for you. Well, it's not just for Indreamia, but for anyone out there. Like, I'm a dad, so I kind of have to watch some of this stuff. But just kind of curious, how many people out there have ever watched True and the Rainbow Kingdom? It's a Netflix thing. It's out of Canada. Super sweet. kids' television show anyway. I feel like Andromeda channels a couple of characters from time to time from the show, and I want to know if anyone else out there can participate in the inside jokes with me. Probably not, but I'm throwing it out there. Javar, how the hell are you, homie? Happy Friday. How's the weather up there? Javar, I thought several times this week as well. Oh, dude. Central, just hearing you say those words that you want to do something entirely different for the next project it's just music in my ears. That's what I love. That's what I love. You are an artist, sir. Kwame! Dude, I was just talking about you. Sour Music, welcome back. Happy Friday to you. It's been a minute. Kwame, what you been working on this week? Doga Aaron 4. I'm doing alright. How are you? Happy Friday. Ever see Reboot? Also out of Canada. I'm not sure that I've seen Reboot. Enlighten me. Yeah, Central. This isn't bad, right? Okay, so for those who want to play along, we'll just jump through this really quick, and then we'll get back to hellos. There's two different ensembles running. This one is called Splatshot. Splatshot. You can grab it in the reaktor user library. There's been a few tweaks made. I've got to run in through a little bit of bit crush and some delay. Pretty simple though. Some sine wave kind of stuff. All right, second one. What is this one called? I'm trying to remember. This might be Scuzzle. I think this might be Scuzzle. Anyway. That's what we're listening to currently. Oh, Sour Music, I missed your comment where you send your tracks. Hit the Discord, public feedback channel. Got to keep it simple. First come, first serve. Get your link in early because things do fill up fast. And although we will go for more than a couple of hours without stopping, it will pass quickly. Sour Music, you know what? We do it a little bit differently here. Like if you're in an urgent rush, like you got to run out the door or something, and you want early feedback, we'll let you do that. We're not going to like require money or anything. I mean, whatever kind of support you show the community is amazing. But it's not what we're here for, so. Oh man, okay, so Andy has seen Reboot and he likes it, so. Harsh Noises, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. Happy Friday. So Central One's saying, I'm basically going to go into singer-songwriter mode for the next year and work on my singing performances. Feels like it's the correct next step. Dude, okay. Stoked. I'm stoked. What do you think the chances are of getting you on the stream when the EP is like near dropping or just dropped? Saf, welcome back. Oh, Kwame's been working on some drum work this week. Yeah. Sounds like a synth in Mr. Robot. I guess it very well could have been. Rockhound says, if I pull my arms and legs into my body, you can call me Balloony Bobby. Oh, that's great. Meltwater, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Just seeing the comments here between Kwame and Indrimia about Evans. You know, we are growing the little network around Paul. Evans the Bard. If you're not currently following Evans the Bard, go follow. Kill It Music, welcome in. Reboot. Older animated series from the early days of computer animation. Oh, let's see. Jafar's turning me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen this. Is that on any of the streaming platforms right now? Freebie. I'll dip back into it. Now that it's got a double endorsement from the community. Harsh Noises. Hola to you too. Happy Friday. Central. Saying 100%. I love this community. That would be sick. Okay, great. Well, you know, Twitch actually just made it a little bit easier for people in the community to come on to the show. There's a new feature. I haven't tested it yet, so we will hopefully skip right past the lag of Zoom or Skype or whatever one you're on. We'll connect. Shoot me a DM, and we'll plot and plan together. Wait, Saf, did you just say you put out a new vinyl? Kwame, first lesson with Paul last night. Big ups, homie. There's a lot of love in that room. You know what? My buddy Zeus was on a call with Paul for the very first time yesterday, too. Keep our Portland guys busy. Hey, Tom is here. Masters by Iggy in the chat. If you're looking for mastering or mixing or just studio genius in general, send your stuff to Masters by Iggy. It's amazing. All right, let's get in there. Let's see who's dropped what. I see you guys in my DMs here. I will follow up as I can. All right. Saf is first in line. Quirky's right behind him. Central Cardio Party. Man, this is like Baby Rage, Marty Man. We got quite the lineup here. Saw Rockhound in there after that. Let's do this. Gonna grab my little notepad here. And we'll kill some noise. Saffron is up next. First, I should say. All right. Let's ditch out of this stuff here. You guys ready for this? I think I'm ready. You never know what we're going to get when you click on Saf's next track. Sure. All right, so this is Saffron Works, and this is called Bat Lucre Working. Oh man, look at all this love in the chat for Evans the Bard this morning. That's good stuff. This noise feels good, Saf. It's a nice use of stereo space. Yo, Martin's here. Welcome in, Martin. Berkey. How you doing, homie? Oh, man. Tejiro, welcome in. This is so good, Saf. This is like I don't know, it's different because there's so much more room for the individual sounds to develop and then kind of flourish, and like you've got these really small um detail changes happening instead of the more um deeper modulation, more affected kind of psychedelic type of thing. This is much more um hmm, balanced, I think is the right word. Really, really love the noise profiles and your filter work really early in the mix. Really nice space that you're letting everything kind of swim around in. It's great. I think the dialogue that you had in there is super choice and that you should saturate it and bring it up. Um, I like the really subtle processing you've got on it too. I think the rhythmics are super tight. Um, Lots of focus and intention on this one. I think the bass synth can come up around 15 hertz or so from where you have that low cut, and I think that you can kind of play with some saturation on that thing over time. Like I think that the whole mix needs a few different long form modulations in there. Maybe one filter, one saturation. Maybe one is like an exciter or something like that, something to kind of like spark a little color here and there that can then kind of be moved up to the atmospheric level through the delays and the reverb. Um, but yeah, just kind of playing with something like Bit Crush maybe, right, as one of the saturation types. So you're bringing in not just the harmonics, but also these interesting little gritty textures too. Um, and then leave everything else the same. It's really just kind of like a chance to appreciate the all the little bits. 358, maybe some kind of remix move here, just some kind of like maybe a quick reversal and a full cut for like just one beat, or maybe one beat, bring it back one beat, drop it a beat, and then let it go. Um, just something, because it's been fairly rock steady there for a bit. Um, and it starts to kind of settle into this predictable realm for a little bit. So as soon as you start to get that kind of feeling, I like to like tug on the listener a bit. Um, and then maybe just small little transition effect embellishments at points where there are no transitions, just simply for ear candy. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Oh, Quirky, it's good to hear that you will be here for yours. Smart. I like it. That's the new hip term, huh? Smart. It's good. You're so smart. Tom, quite all right that you don't have anything today. Always nice just to have you here. Alex, welcome in. Elmo sample. Are you serious? That was Elmo? That was amazing. Man, that's why it sounded so sugary. Oh man. Yeah, Quirky. Quirky's feeling it too. I think it has to do with the mix on this one. It's your palette is just as eclectic and cool as always. You've got your hypnotic effect there, but you're not leaning on it to provide the overall effect of like immersiveness. You're allowing distance between sounds and time between sounds, and then that allows us to appreciate the deeper change over, like the more detailed change over time, because there's not as many brash elements in the mix that are constantly chanting, providing that hypnotic result, right? This you kind of get there through the immersive space of it all, right? You're kind of sucked in, and the noise is there right in the beginning, but it's filtered, right? So it's not off-putting or harsh in any way. It's really kind of just soft. It's kind of pillowy, actually, right? Because you've got it on either side, right next. It's a really good placement. It's not all the way out. It's good. Good. Hey, Paul is here. Respect the gazelle. Teji Rowe. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, Indremia, you should do more experimental journeys like this. You know, I was thinking after we were texting back and forth the other day that I would love to hear a session of just something playing and you just twisting knobs like as you might. It would be so lovely. A DJ set, if you will, of your own stuff. Yeah, people are liking this one, Saf. This is good stuff. This is good stuff. Hey, nice, Martin. This is awesome. Hey, and congrats again on your latest track getting picked up. That's so cool. Oh, well, thank you. All right, let's hit the next one. Quirky, dude. Let's see where you've gone this week. And thank you, Saf. Some tasty stuff. All right, well, we're going to ignore the thing about you not being here. And let's just dig right in. Yeah. You know, again, this is like there's a noticeable level up again, but this time it's a bit more across the board. The overall sound of everything has um it's really solidified. Like your I think confidence and understanding of like the new workflow is really, really treating your sound well. This is good. This is good. It is definitely the cleanest and the fullest to date. Okay, so now more little things, right? Okay, the stuff that seems like it really doesn't matter at first, but now that you've gotten to the point where you're hearing so many details, let's dial these things in. Okay, so ducking. Try offsetting the various elements. Don't run everything through one compressor where everything is super predictable. It's okay to have a couple of things going through that shared compression, right, to create that sidechain effect. But all the other things should be varied a little bit, right? Threshold on one track is a little bit different, right? The attack is just a little bit different, right? Um, the rate of attack, the knee, right? Um, the release, and just vary the individual elements just a little bit. And over time, because those notes hopefully are being varied as well through, in intensity, um, just through like variation in velocity, right? So that means that the trigger is being, or that the compressor is being triggered a little bit differently by each sound. And then that feels more like movement than it does this predictable, like this technical on the grid constantly. You know what I mean? So it'll bring just a little bit more to the whole thing. Try to keep the ducking and filter resonance off the subs. Okay, so when you're actually moving those sub frequencies in your mix, it can kind of wreak a little bit of havoc, right? Remember how much it helped when you started going through and pulling off the lowest frequencies off the different elements in the mix, so your bass can have that separation for the clarity. It's the same kind of thing here now. You just want to pay attention to how far down you're going with filter sweeps. If there is resonance, make sure you bring down the resonance before it gets to those low frequencies, and I would roll it off before it gets to 150. Um, Anything that can kind of inflate or bloat that part of the frequency range is going to be kind of damaging to the overall thing. So keep an eye on that. Um, I'm not sure how I got an accent here. Anyone know how I get the? I mean, I try to do that intentionally sometimes, and I can never remember how to get the freaking keystrokes to get it. Anyway, select 1 to 2 heroes in the top end. Okay, so we've been spending so much time in the low end, right? Now that that's all super nice and tight, focus on the top end. Make sure that you've really only got 1 or 2 sounds that are really kind of like the heroes in that space. Don't let everything have that top end reach, right? You want to make sure that it's crunchy and it's bright, but only the things that should be crunchy and bright are up there. And we'll just start carving away that frequency space for the high end the same way we did for the low end, right? And when you've got those two in balance, it's going to be really easy for you to find the sweet spots where you're going through and taking a little bit out of the mid frequencies for each one of the elements. And just overall, dude, I think that the energy in this one is a bit more infectious. I think it's the sizzle, like you can actually hear the excitement of the frequencies and those extra harmonics now that you've moved everything over to saturation to get your loudness and fullness, right? So I think just in general, it's all that extra clarity and sizzle. It's commingling well. It's good stuff. Oh well, Saf, I'll tell you what, mixing in mono is working quite well for you. It's good. It's good. Kwame, we will wait for you. Merritt, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Oh man. Yeah, the Tams are absolutely clean in there, right? Well, Quirky, you're paying attention to so many more details now. It's more to keep track of, but you're managing it all well. It sounds really, really well. Or it sounds really good. Central, you are up. All right. Kwame's not up quite yet. Stereo subs are kind of fun, aren't they? All right, Central. Finished track list for EP, just about finishing all the songs now. This one's going to be a bonus instrumental. This one's called Take It Slow. Buckle up. Oh, man. Whew. Freaking sexy bass line, man. Okay, I just need to hear this horn element here with the subs. It's so steady, like it sounds like a car horn almost. Dude, Central, there's so many things to love, of course. Big fan. Crackle is really nice, very pleasing. The chords are freaking delicious. The sub is really the one thing that I kind of questioned at a couple of points, which was just like the frequencies that are being allowed through. I don't know that you need all of the lowest frequencies, and then on top of that, I would probably with the shelf attenuate maybe like the bottom 20 hertz or so of it, like just a few decibels. It feels like it kind of gets in the way of the delivery of the bass in a couple of spots. The bass line is like super freaking sexy. And I feel like I want to hear more of the detail. I feel like I'm feeling parts of the detail that I want to be hearing. So maybe also just like just a smidge more saturation on it. Um, these Foley sounds, it would be awesome to have a little parallel uh, bump from some saturation, right? Like just in those mid highs. Love love the feeling right there. It's nice. They're nice and thick. Feels like instrument cases or something. It's nice. Um, at 129, when everything kind of comes up, it felt a little pushed in the mid highs. So I'm not sure if there's like some compression stuff or if things just kind of need to be tamed with a little bit of EQ as they all kind of come up together because there's extra competition there. Everything else felt really good. Really good. I think this is going to be a lovely way to wrap things up. Can't wait to hear this thing all mixed down. Let's see what people are saying here. Cardio's here. How you doing, Liv? Everybody follow Cardio Party. And then tune in. Easy release, right, Martin? Right? Yeah. Oh. Hmm. And he brings up the low end. Yeah, love the chops. The synths blend nicely. Yeah, people love this. People love this. Gotcha. Haven't even touched EQing. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, it always sounds great, even when it's a work in progress from Central. Really. Cardio. Liv, you're up. All right, Liv says, been working on this remix lately, feels pretty finished. Mix is a little rough around the edges, but overall things are doing what I want them to. My only worry right now is that it needs a little bit more ear candy, but maybe I'd be overcomplicating it. Let's listen. This one's called Ruin LA. Cardio Party Remix.
I'm in Hollywood alone, walking through street lights, headlights, got nowhere to go. And if I were a little more drunk, probably call you on the phone. You said we'd keep in touch, but we don't. Said we keep in touch, but we don't. So I keep on going. End up in the valley, don't know anybody, but this party's dope. Someone tapped me on the shoulder, passed me something, asked me if I want to smoke. So I just take a hit, then I choke. I just take a hit, then I choke. But I pledge my allegiance to LA and all its wicked, twisted ways. Where'd you go? Where you at? You took everything. All the thrills and the pills don't do anything. Even though I plead and pray, it won't ever be the same. In all these United States, why the hell do you have to go and ruin LA?
Yes, yes. Oh.
Why the hell do you have to go and ruin LA? Why the hell do you have to go and ruin LA? I went to Beverly Hills, caught a ride with a guy, didn't know his name but knew the deal. Whispered in my ear, told me be the same in all these United States. Why the hell do you have to go and ruin LA?
This is like it's fun and it's twisted and different. It's cool. Like it's got a really like slightly different kind of potential all the way around uh than your last few. Love the moving textures in the intro. I think these chords in the intro, I know that you want the reveal when the full mix really comes out, but I think that they could handle just a touch of saturation. It doesn't need to be making it louder, so you can volume adjust it down. But I think that the presence boost of, um, just the boost in the character details in the frequencies that are being disclosed would be lovely there. And love the time play at 111. Um, yeah, for like just 30, 40 seconds, you kind of go off here. Um, it just feels good. Like it's very cardio party. And then I think that this is where the ear candy can come in, right? I don't know that I would add or move much in this first 2 minutes, like in the lead up to the 2 minute mark. I think that right before that you could start tossing some out there, but it doesn't always have to be adding. It could just be a couple of remix maneuvers, right? Like here 239 to 240, you could just do like a hard stop stutter, like dun, 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 whoosh, and come back with like a 16th reversal back into the full mix or something like that. But like 157, 203, 213, 216, maybe an elongated event between 223 and 227, right? Something that gets tossed up into the atmosphere and like twisted around or reversed or pulled back or something. Like that could actually move to, right? Something that's separate from the arrangement and mostly just kind of textural. And then at 304, like you could actually have a big build be your finish, right? Like if it's some kind of like slowly winding up pad or something like that that's being gated by a really cool building rhythmic piece, right? Think about how like that kind of build up tumbly kind of feel um could like kind of enhance this energy of like, oh shoot, here we go again. All right, we're winding up, we're winding, and then it ends. That'd be a nice yeah. Those are my thoughts. Those are my initial thoughts. I'll stick these in a thread for you. Classic cardio, by the way. It's really, really nice, and I want to hear. I just want to hear it done now, so I can rock out more. Let's see what other people are saying. Heidi's back. She's dreaming about soda pop. What kind of soda pop? By the way, whenever anyone says soda pop, my mind instantly goes to the garage of the old pop shop at the old flying. What were they called? The Flying A gas station. What was the one with the Pegasus horse with the glass cylinder? Oh, what the hell were those called? Flying A's or something? Can't remember. Anyway, anyone says soda pop, I'm like, ooh, pop shop. And I'm like 12 again. Andy likes it. Liv says, I'm really going for a pop D&B vibe here. Glad to know these little things are all landing. Rockhound is dancing while cooking. What are you cooking, Rockhound? Yeah, I think you are right about the ear candy being needed. Of course it sounds like a Monster Cat release, Martin. Of course it does. Man, Liv and Anthony are a beast of a duo. It shouldn't really be a dream. Like Liv, if you were to actually just send your stuff through, it would be, they've been doing their show for years. I don't know if you ever send stuff in, but that's basically how every single act on the label has gotten in. Martin, Martin's gonna help. This is wonderful. Yeah, there's very little compression outside the drop. These are killer ideas as always, like triplets. Yeah, yeah, like triplets in that spot. Yeah, that'd be good. Um, burger. You're cooking a burger. Nice. The eager anticipation. Yeah, that's fine. If you have zero expectations and expect to be turned away, that's exactly when you should send it in. And then it doesn't matter if you get a rejection or 12. It really doesn't. But the thing is that you don't stop. That's the thing. But you have, how many releases out officially do you have right now? It's a bunch. So I would say that of the, like, of what you've produced that could be on Monster Cat right now, I would say a bunch. From every single one of your releases has the quality required. Rockhand says, guys, for everyone who doesn't know their streams, Cardio Party drinks about 6 liters of water in 2 hours. She goes to the toilet at least 8 times an hour. Her cat covers 80% of the stream from the camera, and sometimes she gives feedback. I've never seen her produce before. Oh, you're not up yet, quite yet, Martin. I was just saying you're super awesome for offering to help out Liv. Heidi, meanwhile, is still stuck in Club Soda Land. I try to be as accurate as possible, cardio. I do. Lots. Lots. Oh man. That was so good, Liv. That was really good. All right. Baby Rage, you are up. This one is Miami Posse. Spoken Get High 92. Aren't done. You ready for this, Baby Rage?
Smoke, make it high. Hypnotize, count, gotta answer when you hold. In the weed, blow the smoke out your nose. Pack open bottles of that liquor going in. Don't take a swallow of that vodka and gin. Hoes making cheese off the tricks he was in. Up on they money, oh, you gotta check them in. Name recognized, eyes hit like a match. Blaze up this fire, paranoid like a cat. Ride with my dogs, dodging laws when you roll. Doing this at home, me and Toby on the stroll. See your show skirt, and we looking for a hole. One better suck dick, one better go. Nowadays, niggas get home, you dance. Never know when you always want to dance. Talking that stack, being beach in the stand. Jumping down the stairs, being mashed on the gas. We gon' drink, we gon' ride, we gon' smoke, make it high. Smoke, make it high. Smoke, make it high. We gon' drink, we gon' ride, we gon' smoke, make it high. Smoke, make it high. Smoke, make it high. All I do is smoke on wood. Break the Swisser down, nigga, fill it up with drugs. Ride through your neighborhood with my cuz. Looking for us, a freaky little slut. Found us a slut, so we picked that bitch up. Smoking on that drove, and we going in the club. This bitch right here, know she got a bum. Fuck me, man, and she sucking on my
This is good. Baby Rage, this is a nice vibe. There's a couple things here. I think a couple small transition effects would really help in a couple of spots. Not like that there's anything wrong with those spots, but I think that there's, there's like some it's all about feels, right? It's like this emotional satisfaction or like punctuation or accent on certain things, right? Certain things to just kind of give it just a little more at a couple of points would feel really good, right? Like at 16 seconds, right as it transitions, I would put a little effect there, right? It could be something really small, like a little noise or snare reversal. It could be a little suck back. It could be like a reversed horn or something, but something that can kind of like be nice and super tight. It's not going to step on your arrangement once the full mix pops, and give the cue of like this thing is happening, right? And it just kind of embellishes that whole thing in just the right way. At 44 seconds, there's an opportunity for another one there. Um, don't let the vocals be hit by any ducking. Leave subs out of the compression chain, so don't put the subs through the ducking either, and don't sweep through the subs. I would also bring up the low end cut on your bass by a good 15 hertz or so. You might be able to bring it up just a little bit more. You don't need any like super rumbly sub presence there, but you do want all the warmth and thick low end. So the sweet spot is just up from where you are currently for that. And the vocals, I feel like there were a couple of spots where they could stand upright just a bit more in the mix. But it could also just be something simple that you do with them to draw more attention to them as well. So it doesn't have to be like a loudness embellishment, or it doesn't have to be like, saturation or distortion or anything, but something to help keep them a bit more present in the priorities for the listener. I'm gonna see what people are saying here. Yeah, this is good. Oh, Manning, you are up. Yeah, I think hit those few things, man. I think that's going to be good. Respect the gazelle. It's not sure. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. And Marty, we are coming up on you here. Fridays, where you guys come to get feedback and Siri just autocorrects me constantly. There needs to be like a handle acceptance, right? Like that. I wish Siri could tell when I'm typing in someone's Twitch handle. You know what I mean? All right. Marty Scott and Ellie Goulding, All By Myself. Remix here. Let's see if we can get away with this one.
But now I'm embracing the way I am. I don't need nobody to hold my hand. I'm doing it all by myself. I'm moving it all by myself. I don't belong. free from what they wanted me to be, and I'm me. I don't belong. All by myself. All by myself.
All right, this is good. The arrangement that you've put together, like your work is solid. I think what I would recommend to like take this to another level is more movement in the actual sounds, more development in the actual sounds. So not every single note is hitting the exact same way each time it's delivered, right? So just some long form kind of subtle modulation where maybe the wavetable is being modulated on your oscillators if you're using a wavetable synth, or maybe it's a filter mod, right? If it's not, there could be some adjustment to the saturation amount or target frequency, or it could be something that is, more shaping oriented, like the attack and the decay are slightly being, adjusted over time. Um, so some notes are a little bit more plucky and sharp, and others are a bit softer and rounder. So just tiny, tiny little things. And if there's multiple events like that happening throughout the entire arrangement, then the whole thing feels like discovery. Like that's really what gives us joy and satisfaction when we're listening to music, because it's a what's next experience. And if you can predict what's always going to come next, then it's no longer a discovery, right? It's a formulaic experience. So what I would suggest is just anything to create that feeling of anticipation while you're listening to see how that next thing is going to hit. At 125, I think you could get a little bit more from the drop. You got a good amount of tension from the build, but the decay on the reverb channel, for instance, could be greater. You could put in a nice little delay pulse in there, right? That's not dominant. It's not like overbearing in any way, but it affects the shape, like the delivery of that extended reverb tail then too, right? And it gives just a little bit more lock and groove with the rest of the track. And then lastly, I think that the transitions all felt just a little rushed. Not rushed in the sense that they were rushed in their timing, but they could have started earlier. They could have lasted just like their tails, the experience of them, the ability, the opportunity to appreciate those moments could be elongated. And even if it's only a matter of like 1 second more presence in the mix, it's still a second more, and it's going to stand out. It's going to be a bit more memorable. It's going to push emotion just a little bit more, right? And that's where you start to get the connection with the audience, is those kind of emotional moments. So that is what I would say to that. And let's see what other people are saying. Heidi is liking the 8-bit bits in there. I do as well. Oh, and you normally make trap. Well, this is quite upbeat and melodic for moving on from trap. Now, cardio, I would say, and not to pit two tracks against each other or anything, but since you've just done this, I would say that the style and everything is there. Yours might be a bit more interesting at almost each turn, and I think that that's what gets the replays, right? So like on the surface, and this is a remix, right? So like on the surface, the production of this one is really super solid. It could use just a little bit more interest. Yours, Liv, has like tons of interest, and the production quality is there. And now you have like, it's more just like embellishments. Like I feel like the experience of each one of your transitions is really good. Um, so they both have these tiny little tweaks. Um, but you're right, they are both there. Straight Rocket League. Yeah. Oh, you know what, Liv? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have a following. It just matters if your stuff is going to vibe with their current following. They aren't in the business of getting new customers from you. They're in the business of converting their customers with transactions in your products. They've got a big store. They don't need you to bring a store with you. Ooh, Mesto vibes. There you go. Yeah, people are saying they like this one, so this is good. This is good. Oh, TG Road, this is good. The always looking to discover, working on something different each track. Yeah, I like that. Good. I'm glad that this vibes with you, Manning. I'm glad that it will help. Sav says, by the way, I just got the Arturia collection upgrade this morning. Loving the Korg MS-20. It's like my older one with a sequencer. Nice. No money wasted. Oh, you got to love that feeling. Got to love that feeling. Alex, welcome in. Rockhound, you're in the kitchen, but you can hear me. Great. Okay, excellent. Don't burn yourself. Rockhound. This one's called Prophecy. Let's do this. Rockhound. Rockhound, you've done it again. And again, I think I want a couple of transition effects in this mix. Loving all of your choices there. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, Rockhound, you've done it again. The throb is real in this one. And those claps, like super, super chunky. When those first hit in that intro, it is a moment. It's great. What a great delivery. A small reverb bubble around that kick, then saturate that with some feedback on a parallel channel. And just bring it in and out at will. 2 minutes in, really great moment. I think the bass, it's such a good drop. I think the bass can be driven a bit more though. And I think just in general, I think saturation swells in this track would be absolutely incredible. It would push the energy over whatever agreed upon limit you're operating within with your audience. It would push them over that point and then they'd lose their shit. Which is great. I mean, that's what we're aiming for, right? The energy is real. You are always in the club, I swear. I think again, 337. This changeup was absolutely vicious as well. Visor Music, welcome in. Thanks for the follow. And I'd saturate there and toss in some reverb swells too. Um, like big, like almost clamoring at a couple of points. I think there's such good energy built up. Um, yeah, and your delivery of change up is really good. It's really good. This is absolutely going to get plays. Um, 4 minutes, you might want to play with this, right? Build a throbbing atmosphere, like use the old dark techno trick, right? Where you've got the kick generating just a ton of like spacious atmospheric awesomeness. Um, have that over on a parallel track, right? And get the bass in there with it, and roll up the lows, so none of that's gonna like eke its way into the mix and start throwing things off, but just kind of bring it in at choice times. Be nice. Saturation swells. Big love, Rockhound. Good stuff. Everyone here is loving this one. Lots of good responses from people. Lots of good responses. This convo about fame. Awareness and recognition is really all that's required. Fame is it's different. Yeah. Okay. So Martin nails it here. We're just kind of talking about like labels and reach and stuff. Martin's comments here. Your reach most of the time is dependent on playlist curators. So following up on certain sound tends to help out a lot on getting a lot of reach. This is correct. And finding the right people to send it to helps a lot more. Yeah, I think this is where like music discovery blogs and stuff are still a legitimate thing, and fostering good, maintaining good relationships with people once you find them, reaching out to them at times when you're not just dropping a track and looking for attention, I think might matter more than anything else at this point, because there are literally an uncountable number of things being released every single day. Respect the gazelle. Eric, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate you. Oh, you know what I just realized? You guys? I don't think I put up a different free sound pack last month, did I? Man, I think when the whole house got sick and the holidays came, like I think the whole month just ran right by. I'm gonna put up a bonus for y'all this month. Go grab everybody that's subbed. Go grab the sample packs that's in there. We'll put up something fun. And if I don't get to it today before I peace out for the weekend, I'll hit it at the top of the week, and we'll get you guys some really good stuff this month. Andy says I should focus on creating music in an actual genre then. Yeah, the old bait and switch, right? Like, wow, this prog rock guy Andremia is amazing. And they go and they check out your stuff, and it's all just like your normal music, right? If you were to make a track in like an established genre, Andremia, what would it be? This is true. You are in down tempo. Yeah, Martin is saying songwriting helps here a lot, and knowing how to create moments in your music that can translate to a lot of people. Yeah, that's exactly it, is creating the small moments that can create these connection opportunities with people. So that's why music with emotional underpinnings, lyrics have an advantage, right? Because people can align with those feelings. Um, it's true, but we're living in the era of ear candy, and you can do quite a lot with a well-timed drop. Eric, if we have time, we can get to a second one. I have no problem giving feedback on a couple of things. If there's like if you're putting your stuff in the queue and it comes back around to you. Been here for 10 minutes and there's more good feedback than any of the other streams I've been on. Oh, well, thank you. That's kind of how we roll on Fridays. But also the reason why a certain label behaves in a way is because they have a goal that they want to reach as well. Yeah, that's exactly it. Every label, right? Think about this. If there's a million different companies and they're all basically offering the same service, then what the hell, right? Every one of them has a niche and a certain type of demographic that they're working with, and that is what drives the large majority of all of the decision making. So from the outside, when you're not part of it, not everything might make as much sense. It might think that you may feel like priorities are off or something, but just don't know their priorities yet. Yo, Samsung, welcome back, homie. How are you? It is business. That is correct, Martin. Each one of them is a shop. Oh, hey, that's great. Merit TV and I just found out that we only live 30 kilometers apart, OhmLab. That's nice, Rockhand. That is awesome. You guys going to connect? That is great. Andremia is just establishing, like, just making this clear. Dream Tech is a fusion of down-tempo, ambient, progressive, cinematic, minimal. There you have it. So Andremia does produce within a known genre. So neener, neener. Purple wants to join the fun. Andremia is saying, arguably the best channel for feedback, like that no matter what the genre is brought in, the feedback is technical in nature rather than an opinion. Yeah, I'm not here to make your music different. But I'll help you make it sound more the way you want to make it sound. Samsung. You are up. This one is called Old Jack. 11 out of 10. Top tier feedback. Would recommend. Oh, man. Is that on Yelp?
Just got paid. It's Friday night. Party
Samsung, it's good to hear you.
Feeling right. Body shaking all around. All one dream. Now I'm getting down. Check the mirror. I'm looking fly. Count up the bossy. Jump in my ride. Radio's blasting. A monster jam. Feel the rhythm, full of the sound. I'm feeling so good. Don't you know when you're moving to the beat? I'm grooving, grooving. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just got paid. Just got paid. Friday night. Friday. Party hearted. Party hearted. Face is right. Face is right. Booty shaking. All around, baby. Now I'm getting down on the floor, rocking to the beat. Always short and sweet. Fine young lady, standing by. Come on, honey, we'll see eye to eye. I love the way that you move. You look so good when you're moving to the beat. I'm tired of all these boring parties. Come on, y'all, get on down. Down, 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 yeah. Just got paid. Friday.
Respect that damn gazelle. Thank you, Pfizer Music.
Face is right. Booty shaking. All around, baby. Now I'm getting down. Getting down. You so. this is right.
Body haunted.
Booty shaking. All around. Pour one drink. Now I'm getting down now.
Martin, I would agree. This is what I call good soup too. This is great. Samsung, it's great to hear you again, by the way. We haven't seen you for a minute. I hope you've been well. This is fantastic. You brought some serious freaking energy in this. Everything is great. My two big things for this, volume mix and humanization. The volume mix felt a little bit off in places, and I think more volume automation in general would be a really good baseline place to start for this. Pick a different hero for each moment in the mix. Don't think of this as a one hero song. You can't leave this. This is not a steady edit. You cannot apply, electronic music, general Twitch feedback, mixing techniques to this. You need to make sure that every single thing in the mix is being treated as actual players of instruments, and they need to, accent and acquiesce. They need to commingle in a really cooperative way. So each time one of them steps forward on stage to solo or even just add a little accent riff, the other guys need to just like pull it back just slightly and make room for that, right? And then on the humanization side of things, with the drums, there could be just a little bit of swing and hesitation every once in a while. Remember that it's important every once in a while to just skip one note or something like that, like in a fill or something. And then same goes with the delivery of notes, like with your keys and stuff. It's okay to stagger the delivery even more than already has been. And each one of those runs, they're highly energetic. They have great emotional impact. They definitely, they get you every single time. But they don't have to be identical, and they shouldn't be identical. I would sit and listen to like a whole bunch of Stevie runs and listen to how they're varied. Like he's a master, right? Some really serious vibes here, though. Really good stuff. This is good stuff. This was a surprise. I was not expecting this. Good stuff. I'm going to check and see how many we've got here. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Yeah, let's close this up. Anybody else got one right now that you're about to drop? Because I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Everybody here is basically just saying this is sick. This is awesome. I mean, not to cut it short. It's awesome. Eric, yeah, if there is time when we get there, absolutely. Happy to do it for you. Let's roll. Let's do this next one. Man, we've got some good stuff in this queue. Sour, you're up. Forget About Me. That's what this one's called. Oh, and before we dig in, Sour is saying creative side is finished. Just got this mix back from the engineer. Would love to know if you have any notes to pass through for some final changes. Thanks. Sweet. Good to know.
You gave me every sign. Don't know how I'm still surprised. Told me she's your new friend. Try telling the truth instead. Tell me when it went wrong. Did you ever feel a thing? I felt it all. I'm still trying to numb the pain. You found someone. Is that why you pulled away? Now we'll never be the same. You said it's not you, it's me. I know what that really means. You found better company. Just tell me the truth. You said it's not you, it's me. You said it's not Notice how you turn away mid-conversation. Tell me what's her name and is she my replacement? Oh, I can take this. How could I be so easy to let go? Tell me when it went wrong. Did you ever feel a thing? I felt it all. I'm still trying to numb the pain. You found someone. Is that why you pulled away? Now we'll never be the same. You said it's not you, it's me. I know what that really means. You found better company. Just tell me the truth. You said it's not you, it's me. You said it's not you, it's me. I know what that really means. I know what that really means. Just tell me the truth. Did you forget about me with a stranger? You can forget about me. You can forget about me.
Yeah, it's great. Sarah, this is a really good, solid mix. I think the low end is really the one thing to attend to here. And it's going to have a fairly noticeable impact on the entire mix. So keep this version. And I'd let them know that you want to hear it with the low end on the sub moved up. So the low cut on the sub, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about really quick. This guy right here is sitting, it's probably something like this on that sub. And what it should be on that sub is probably upwards of around like a 45 hertz or so. You could maybe even bring it up just north of 50 hertz. And here's why I say that. You're not trying to change anyone's heartbeat here. This is a really nice pop tune, right? So you don't need anything that's going to bloat the mix like that. And to be really fair, the energy that's being used to produce these frequencies that you're really not hearing, but you're feeling, all of that energy can be redistributed right to the heart of your mix by simply rolling that up. And then the next bit for you is the kick. So right now, if you listen really critically to the kick, it feels like there are frequencies that are being allowed through where they don't need to be. So I would actually bring the dB per octave cut up a bit more and bring that sub cut up as well. At 145 or so, I kind of lost track of the time here because I was typing. Yeah, right here. So you can kind of feel it, right? There's this double impact of the two bass elements, but you can feel how the sub is triggering processes in the mix there. There's this jump, this noticeable jump. And that's because plugins are only ever aware of a signal level, and that's it, signal strength, and that's it. They can't actually, they don't comprehend what is coming through. They have no, they're not intelligent. So you just got to be really aware of those bass levels. I think that's really the only thing in this whole thing. It's good. Yeah, super clean, right? Right? Trivia says, I've come to the realization that I have too many interests. Oh, that's hilarious. So I hope that helps, Sour. It's really good. It's really good. Doa. Or Dua. You are up. This one is simply called Unfinished Idea right now. Kwame, you're up next. You bet, Sour. Hope it vibes with you, homie. DOA, I'm remembering your last submission now. It's been a little while.
Dawn of time. Dawn of time. Dawn of time. Dawn of time. I've been searching for an answer.
This is great. I think the biggest complaint that I have about this one is just the way the loudness level, the LUFS where it's sitting right now is just too loud for the genre. It's an understated aesthetic, but it's being presented at like banger levels, and it needs to be brought more in line with the aesthetic. Um, so what I would recommend is break out a LUFS meter and make sure that you don't go over neg 16 on this one. Um, because it's going to be driven. It's going to be driven if it is. And the other thing is don't get to that level of loudness through limiting, right? Like don't use a maximizer or a limiter or compression to get there. Instead, bring everything out with saturation. So I would mix the entire mix really without much compression along the way with anything. There's a couple of sound design elements that I would probably keep it in there, but the rest of the stuff I just remove it. Um, and then saturate the heck out of it at the end. And it's just gonna drench the thing in harmonics. Everything is gonna pop in a very kind of dimensional fashion because you've got a really good balance of positive and negative, light and dark. Your space is really nice. Your mixing on everything is really solid. And the arrangement, the entire concept is really just very satisfying. It's really well put together. It's really the only thing, like the only technical thing. The one element that stood out as a bit dominant where it didn't need to be was that riser, the tremolo riser in the beginning, and it steps on the vocal shot that happens at 25 seconds if you listen to this. So it can come in at a lower level. It doesn't have to jump up quite as quickly. And right here, that vocal is having a hard time coming across clear. So I think that just taking a look at the different elements that share frequency space with the vocals and carving a little bit out from those elements in the mix are going to help that sit up on top a bit more. Just really good. Just a really, really good vibe. Really nice aesthetic. Very good stuff. Let's see what other people are saying. Okay, so Eric, no, it's not genre specific feedback because the laws of physics still apply to everything. It will always take more energy to serve up those lowest frequencies. Those lowest frequencies will always be the bulkiest and slowest to move in the mix. So there will be more things affected by it overall in the mix. And you really don't need the frequencies in most music types below 50 hertz because you're not really going to hear anything there. You're going to feel it. There's some fullness, some weight, and some gravity that comes from those frequencies. So you have a small amount of them in there instead of a dominant amount of them in there. And one of the biggest reasons is, like I was saying before, your plugins are reacting to signal strength as they're coming through the input channel, and uh, those frequencies are right there. They're always really high if you've got a bass heavy mix, which means it's responding to those frequencies, so you're never hearing the bulk of your mix the way that you could. Zonderling vibes, yeah. Um, well, mix needs work. I mean, that's why you're here, right? This is it. This is good, man. This is good. It's really just the loudness there, and that the volume balance with that riser, and carving out a little bit of space for the vocals. That's really it. Like, this is really solid. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot to do here. Very good stuff. Kwame, Kwame, get your booty over here. You are up. This one's called Sway. Oh, I am ready for these beats. Oh, here's this drum work. Oh man, Kwame, I am really, really, really looking forward to what you end up cooking up after having a few sessions with Paul, and how his um like how his approach to delivery is going to rub off on you. I think that it's really awesome the timing of like how everything is worked out, right, with your piano lessons and then those going away and you not feeling ready for it, and now, right, you're starting up with Paul, you're working on this, on the rhythmic stuff and the humanization. I feel like it's all actually happening at the right time for you. And it's going to feel good. I'd saturate the guitar a bit at in that intro part, 40 seconds or so. You can hear some of the notes aren't cutting through quite as easily as the others, and it's simply because there are other elements in the mix popping off at the same or near the same time with those same frequencies, so they're kind of canceling each other out. So a little bit of saturation will add some harmonics. It'll kind of wiggle it, like scoot it right around that issue. 136. The hats are stumbling just slightly here. I'm a little picky because I'm a drummer, but I think a little tad less hesitation. It's like the pocket can be a funny thing, right? You want it like just behind or just ahead of. I would put the hats just ahead of. So right now, the hat is typically hitting right after the snare, right? And I think like if you were to shift all of that over just a little bit and listen through, listen eyes closed, right? And just kind of feel the groove. And then just ask yourself like which one are you feeling feels better? If you do end up feeling like maybe it'd be better to lead than drag with the hats, then it would also leave room for those really small embellishments, those little, you know, those little drag bounces that you get on the side of the snare head, or the, you know, as your stick drags across the top of the hi-hat. There's a little bit of room for those little tiny little accents. That muted horn, homie, dude, seriously. Yeah, the mix is pretty darn good. Your palette is great. Your chords are awesome. I felt like the other humanization stuff in there is good. Like all of your chords felt very organic in their delivery. I think this one really, for me, the thing is the hats, and it'll take a bit, right, with each track to find the pocket. So, yeah, jazz lo-fi, right? Right? Yeah, Heidi, I love Kwame tracks too. So good. Word. Harsh noises, you're up. Oh, I was supposed to close this queue a while back. Didn't. All right. Oh, we got a lot in here, huh? Harsh noises. Here we go. One's called Real Dream.
My
this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave now. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
We're going to shut this one down before it gets to 428. You do not get to know what happens next. It's a cliffhanger, yeah. Harsh noises. This is good. It's just good. I checked the overall LUFs. Like it feels good. There were a couple of points that felt just slightly driven. The overall thing, man, is really good. I love the ongoing, like the contiguous Morpheus dialogue. Really fun to follow. I like that you kept the music its own, like it's supportive enough for the dialogue, but it's hella interesting the entire way through. So really, really good club energy. Absolutely. Martin says, you made me stop farming in WoW. So take this as a compliment. Taking a pill from a random stranger? Well, yeah, sure, of course, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not, I'm definitely not going to want, like, much changed in this. You know, Martin is saying put a multiband compressor on the stereo bus, and do upward compression, but make the kick be the trigger. That would make it feel a bit more expansive, like upwardly expansive, which would give you that kind of, you know, hands up energy, way up there at the peaks throughout. The pill was made in the OhmLab. Watch out, then. Watch out. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Go get it. Absolutely. Alex, dude, you're up. And this is just the pre. So let's get to the whole thing here. This one's called Better. Got some weird glitchiness happening here. Let's do this in a different one. just a self-release, right, Alex?
I smell the fresh air after the rain stops, and I've been drifting inside of my thoughts. I finally get the strength to get out my bed. My heart would sink every time that I would see you, but I don't even feel down anymore. I feel much better than before, and the repetition is getting to me. I think I'm struggling to breathe. I'm working in the same cycle every day, but I'm still doing much better than before. In my life, I've opened brand new doors. I realize who I'm doing this for. I'm relaxed cause I know God's in control, and I know in the end I'll reach my goal. With my Lord, I'm always feeling whole. I smell the fresh air after the rain stops, and I've been drifting inside of my thoughts. I finally got the strength to get out of my bed. My heart was sick every time that I would see you, but I don't even feel down anymore. I feel much better than before, but the repetition is getting to me. I'm working in the same cycle every day, but I'm still doing much better than before. Much better than before. My heart would sink every time that I would see you, but now it doesn't sink, and I won't overthink. I was guided by the Holy Spirit, all I needed, and I don't even feel down anymore.
Man, this is good. I think. Oh, here, let me stop this. I think on your next one, like some working notes on this one. The vocal separation is good, and I like the stereo separation. The drums could use some saturation, especially the toms. They don't really have much ring to them, and that's the thing that makes tom fills really work, is the fact that there's this ringiness to them, right? The resonant quality of them as they're heard. The bass can come down a little bit in the mix, right? So just kind of understanding that for the drums to really pop, the bass can't be too dominant. The way to make those drums help cut through and make them ring is with some saturation. And you can up the presence of the room on the drums as well, and it's going to give a bit more energy to the entire track because you're going to have this small amount of slap back, and it's going to make it feel like it's more of a performance, right? That there was someone that played some drums in a space. And I think it would kind of fit the overall vibe that you're going for. A bit more verb was used in those retro years. You might want to consider a little more hat work on the next one, just a little bit more hat play, small little rolls and opens, closes, little sizzles, like those halfway in between points, right, to help make it feel a little bit more organic. And every once in a while, just having like a little double tap on a tom instead of like between snare hits or something, right? Just to kind of liven up that section of the band, really. So a little more room on the drums, a little saturation on the drums, a little more humanization and embellishment on the drums. And I think that the whole thing starts to feel a little bit more like a whole band working together. I don't know that you necessarily need a lot of embellishments on any of the other instruments, but little tiny touches go a long way. So, like some fretboard noise, right? Slight detuning, and then delivery of notes that are just slightly off the grid at different points. All of those things can add up to feeling like a much more satisfying, like performance kind of experience. So those are probably the things I would hit in future productions. Yeah, go for it, Alex. Yeah, you guys can always drop your links in the chat as long as you're not being like, obnoxious to other people or whatever. I have no problem. All right. Let's see here. Kill it. This one is called Ariax. Give it all to you. Let's check this. Oh, good, you're here. Let's roll.
I give it all to you. Thinking we can make this right. Nothing I can do. One day you'll become my guy. I give it all to you. Thinking we can make this right. Nothing I can do.
It was good. It was really good. A couple questions. Are you doing your own sound design? The export went wrong. Oh, so it wasn't supposed to start as abruptly. It's okay. It gives me an idea of what this mix sounds like. I think the LUFs are a bit driven, so I would bring the LUFs down. Like neg 16 is where the streaming platforms are going to cut it. A lot of the competition in the genre is hitting around neg 12. For like the more mainstream stuff, I would consider this to be on the more mainstream side of things. I think separation is the big thing here, and that's going to come down to just the dynamics. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that it was your sound design. So, and it's not sure has some criticism. He needs more. So here's what I would say is that I like the sound design and I like your ideas and I like your delivery of everything. I wish we could hear all of it without as much compression, as much limiting, and then use saturation to get to that level of loudness instead. And the reason why I say that is because some of the elements in here could be so much more subtle in the mix, right? And it would make these other things really stand out in the mix. And the distance between those two elements, perception wise for the audience, is all that really matters. It really is. If there's not enough distance between those things, then it becomes an assault on the ears, right? It's not, or on the senses. It's not really enough separation to allow the listener to arrive at like appreciation. They're going to enjoy that it's a banger, like that it sounds good or whatever, but they're not going to go back and listen to it a million times because it can be kind of fatiguing, right? So take that out of the equation and give the listener a chance to turn something up when they really want to, and it'll get better if all of your loudness has been achieved through the saturation and it's the right kind. But if it's being achieved through the loudness and the limiting, then it's already hit its maximum a while back, and you can't really turn it up and make it sound better or feel like it's more. It just gets louder. So that is the one thing that I would say about this one. And know that your sound design is on point, your arrangement, your composition skills are on point. And I think that your volume mix is on point too. It can be a little tough to tell when things are compressed together so much, but I think that'll probably shake out pretty good. I think you should bring back more stuff. Swing by again next week and bring more stuff, and let us get to know your sound over time, and we'll be able to give you a little bit more critical feedback, because it sounds to me like you've already reached a certain point, right, in your skill sets. I just want to hear more detail in the work in progress stages to give you more feedback. It's a nice sausage. Says it's not sure. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Awesome. Okay, TG Rowe is up next. Am I close on your name? I do not want to butcher anybody's name here. Genres: hardstyle, dubstep, deep house, trance. Okay. Yeah, right. We do not have a chef's kiss. We do not. Excellent. Excellent. Nailed the name. Great. Okay, here we go then. This one's called Power. We're going to end up going over today, you guys. So grab another cup.
The purpose of life, power.
Thank you, Bing Bong McGee. Appreciate you. Happy Friday to you. volume mix. Volume mix on this one, I think, is one of the bigger things to attend to, and EQ. Some of the volume stuff that I'm hearing is EQ stuff. So let me just kind of frame this for you. I feel like there are frequencies that are competing with one another across the different elements in the mix in different places, which is to be expected, mashing up all the genres and the eclectic palette that you're working with, which is awesome, by the way. I think that in general, for at least the first half of the track, the more the bass synth heavy stuff, if you were to specifically turn down those bass synths, those more digital sounds, in general, just like 7 dB, something like that, and then bring the entire mix up more with some finishing saturation and low compression to gel it all together. I think this starts to feel a little bit more balanced in those first moments. Really love the gating. I kind of lost track of keeping the time tags on all of this. The EQ, the low and the mids in the EQ management across all tracks throughout the arrangement, I think, needs to be just a little bit tighter for all of this stuff to really be appreciated at the fullest. And by that, I just mean that there are small details that aren't necessarily being heard in full clarity and presence. There's also just a general like obscuring or obfuscation of the delivery of certain things, and you can kind of feel it more than you can hear it in some points. And a lot of that is going to be cleaned up with really, really simple attenuations, just cutting things away with your EQ. Don't try to make anything stand out by adding any frequencies right now. Just go in and solo a track, listen to it, see if you can take more away from the bottom, see if you can scoop a little bit of the mid frequencies out without actually taking anything away from the sound. And if you can, then do that, and then listen to it in context, make sure that it still pops in all the right ways, right? And then drop down to the next track and do the same thing again. And after you get through this entire thing, you might need to attend to volume mix a little bit, because this is absolutely going to affect the perceived loudness and presence and even position of different things. You will start to hear details in the mix that you didn't realize were actually there. Some things just kind of commingle in such a way that it sounds like something entirely new. And that will happen, guarantee it. And just a last little thing, these little metallic bits that you've got in there, like that little fill at 412, I think there can be a few more of these kind of scattered throughout the mix. They start to bubble up in the second half. And I think that if you were to bring more of these throughout the entirety of the mix, that can be one of the overarching elemental themes that's added to this to kind of bring it together. And then you can process those things really creatively across the entire 4.5 minutes of this track, right? And that can give you this kind of signature topper, or it's like sprinkles, right? You put these little sonic embellishments on top. You twist them up in really creative ways, right? Put a little granular, some reversal delays in there. Get a little fun in a couple of spots. Don't do it the entire time. So when you do, they stand out and it's really nice and tasteful. But I think that one thing like that kind of sprinkled throughout the mix would help. I hope this helps. There's something moving behind the notes and Discord window, like in the middle crack. Oh yes, there is. It's it's thermal. Yeah. Portal. All right, Violet Fields, you're up. We're going to listen to your master, I believe. And yeah, it's going to be nice to be able to compare these two. Yeah, let's listen to the full master, and we'll go and we'll needle drop in a couple of spots with that neg 40 LUFS. I love that you did this. Hey, thank you for the comment there about the honest and great feedback. I appreciate it, and the sub. I appreciate that too. Don't forget, if you're subbed to the Twitch channel here, you get a free sound pack every month. I totally bailed on you guys and failed to upload another a new free sound pack last month, I think. So that one's been sitting there for a bit. I was off, holidays and stuff. It got away from me. Anyway, go grab whatever's in there for free. We'll get you more stuff. Huzzah! Respect the gazelle a whole bunch of times. Liv, I love you. You're absolutely wonderful. You know that? You're just a wonderful human being. Oh my goodness, here we go again. Tejiro, thank you so much. Liv, seriously though, I love you. You are amazing. And Tejiro, I'm really glad that you found us and that you feel like it's a click for you. Good stuff. Anyway, like I was saying, go grab the free sound pack that's up there. In fact, I'll just leave it over the weekend. I'll post the new stuff on Monday for this month, and we'll do a couple things. We'll do at least one sound pack that isn't like available in the store and something else. We'll do something really awesome. We could do Santa Claus versus the Martians. Oh, and speaking of, I know we're really going to be running over because we got a lot of stuff here, but we have to figure out what we're going to do for a holiday watch party this year. So start thinking about what terribly awful, wonderful movie you want to watch together as I drop markers and chop dialogue live for you guys and make another sample pack. So if there's something terribly awful in the public domain from many years ago, because that's the kind of stuff that usually sounds the best, I will clean it for you guys and chop it. Violet Fields says, if you need me to tell you the genre, it's melodic dubstep drum step at 180 BPM. Here we go. Yeah, maybe we'll make December dialogue month. We've recently, I've recently rebuilt some of our gifts that we lost a while back. I have not put them all with the same commands that they used to be, and we don't have them all. Need to get back and finish that. This is good. Violet Fields, I think the one thing that kind of stands out here um, is the driven nature of the mix. It is at this loudness, this peak loudness level that I think is kind of being arbitrarily assigned to it because of where we are in music these days. I think that this is a borderline ambient track, like downright down tempo, and we should treat it like that. We should just bring down that loudness and let people turn it up if they want something that loud. But any feelings of being driven outside of like the bit crush textures and stuff that you bring in there, I think would be doing a disservice to this track. I think that the highs, the airy breathiness is really, really awesome. But it too is being driven by that loudness. And I think that the crush feels awesome on it. So I would leave the saturation that you have on everything and just take away some of that maximization and see how you feel about it. I bet if you were to bounce this out at like neg 18 or neg 17 lufs, I know that's just below the standard, but maybe you do it right at neg 16. Bounce it and don't listen to it. Walk away from this for a couple of days and then just come back and just listen to that fresh bounce, that new bounce, and see what you think about it. What I was saying earlier about saturation can let you hear things, like a really good balanced mix can allow you to hear things, like really good EQing that lets these details through. You didn't know they were there before. The inverse of that happens a lot of times with the loudness, where things bump up into each other up against that brick wall, and then you stop hearing some of that detail work. So 135. Oh wait, subs. The sub low end cutoff needs to come up like 20 hertz because you don't need that kind of sub. And I would keep the dB per octave curve like 24 or even 36. Like it could be pretty high and tight. You don't need any rumble in this. You just need round warmth, supportive gravity, good stuff. Less sub in the kick too. So roll up the low end on the kick EQ specifically, probably all the way up to like, I don't know, 80 or something like that. Like it should be kind of like I can feel that you want some punch from it, but it doesn't actually need that throb component to it. 135, a little less compression overall. And this kind of goes back to the loudness thing. And that drop really, really hits. There would be more independent or more separation of the elements. So you would feel the buildup of the riser be this independent thing that's happening in the mix, not the entirety of the mix. And that's really it. And I love the positive vibe, by the way. It was nice to hear saying someone, say that they love me. And I want to also just kind of play just a few seconds here and there of this neg 40 lufs because I'm super interested to hear where this came from. This is going to be really quiet, guys. Yeah, that feels good. So here's what I would say. Don't start at negative 40 lufs. Don't do it. Start higher. You don't want to increase something from, say, neg 40 to neg 12. You want to move something from, say, like neg 28 to like neg 18. You know what I mean? You want to gain like 10 or 12 lufs in this process. Set that as a target and set the other 20 additional lufs that you're gaining there off to the side. Don't push it that hard and see what you think about that bounce too. Yeah. Stoked to hear what you think about all this. Let's just say, or let's just see what everyone is saying in the chat too. Let's watch Borat. The Elmo Santa. Oh man, Elmo sample pack would be great. We'd get in so much trouble. The Santa movie samples were so fun. Just listen to a song Paul made from one of the samples a week or two ago. Yeah, it's there's some good samples. I think he called it "He's Coming to Get You" or something. Oh, that's awesome. Plate, how are you? Happy Friday to you. Neg 6 for the win, says Martin. If you're curious what I mixed, I put the other things in there, and honestly, -40 left sounds way better. I only made it that loud because most of the songs I listen to are way louder. Yeah, don't fall into that trap. You're not there to compete with other people. You are there to put out your thing in the exact way that you feel it should sound. Martin says my mixes are like neg 20 and I leave 5 dB headroom. Yeah, and that's fine. That's fairly typical. That's fairly typical. I mean, it's a little slim on the headroom, but that's fine. It's good. And your stuff always sounds so good, Martin. Right? Like we can't make a blanket law that says everyone must adhere to this arbitrary number and that's the only way to do this. Like if your stuff is good and you're managing your gain staging and stuff along the way and you're using your EQ properly, it's going to sound fantastic. Case in point. Bing Bong McGee says, dumb question. When you say to increase or decrease LUFS, how would you do that in the mixer or the sampler? New to that term. Okay, so LUFS is a measurement of perceived loudness. If you were to look at your meters, by and large, dBs are fairly arbitrary because my 0 dB sounds like a different loudness than your 0 dB. So I keep a multimeter open in all of my projects. And on one tab, I see my frequency analysis. On the other, I see the goniometer, which is the relationship of mono left and right. And then I have LUFS and I have decibels, and they're all in this one visual thing. LUFS is what is used to measure, like I said, perceived loudness, and it's what it's used by the streaming platforms to measure all the audio coming through to see if they need to turn something down. So when people are going from one song to the next, they don't blow out their speakers or eardrums, right? Because there's lots and lots of people that bounce stuff really, really loud nowadays. So that's what LUFS is. Now, how to go about changing that? Well, one way you could do it is just turn the volume slider, right? Like that, this is in control of your loudness. But what most people are doing to get their stuff loud, and I could show you a couple different tools. Let's take a look at the isotope one because it's going to be what a lot of people out there are using. Where am I here? And then also just limiters can do the same kind of a thing for you. There's an issue with my subscription. Really? I wonder what the issue is. Well, here, let me open up the other one then. Oh, they sent me a new one. That's right. Here, let's put this one up. It's all the same. Okay, so here is a maximizer. So this is the limiter. You'll notice that like it has a ceiling. If we were to open up a regular limiter here, you would see the same kinds of things. An output level. You're going to see input and output. I'll open up this other one so you have a few things to compare it to. So these are the main main parameters that you're going to see. And usually what's happening here is that you're setting a ceiling, which means that the audio signal is limited. It's not allowed to go past that, which is why it's called a ceiling. And then there's this threshold. So when you're using a maximizer, the further down you bring this threshold, the harder you're going to drive your sound and the louder it's going to get. To do that with a traditional limiter, you're going to leave your output level at whatever you don't want it to go past, and you're going to start cranking up the gain knob. So it is quite literally just increasing the loudness of everything all at once and not letting the peaks go any further. So when you stop and you think about that, sure, stuff's getting louder so you can hear it more, but those peaks are gone. Those peaks that used to be the loudest things in your mix, they used to be like the ultimate potential of those individual sounds. They've all been cut. And it squishes all of the sounds together. So they all kind of have a shared perceived loudness, and that makes stuff really hard to listen to for long periods of time. So hope that explains, like from a technical standpoint, what it is and how it works. Yeah, exactly. What Martin is saying, just do whatever feels right. And as long as it doesn't like rub up against the listener in a way that's off-putting in any way, and as long as you are letting other people have an opportunity to hear the stuff in the way that you want them to hear it, then everything's great. Everything's great because they're going to like it because you got to make it the way that you felt it should sound, and they're going to keep listening to it because it feels good when they hear it. So there you go. Yeah, Yulene has a free LUFS meter if you need one. Also, there is a loudness meter. What is it? Loudnesspenaltymeter.com. I think you just go to and drop any track on there. It'll tell you if it's being turned down on a service. Really good explanation compared to what I read off Google. Awesome. All right, let's keep continuing. Let's continue on. Oh, you are welcome. Literally made me understand it so much better. Oh, that's great. That's great. The luffs and the loofs. All right, Martin, dude, let's do this. This one's called ID. Somewhere right now, Roku is smiling and he doesn't know why. Alright, so this is an older one, and there is some Roku in it. My ears perked up. Martin, this is great, dude. This is great. And I'm not going to like say much needs any change at all. I think that you're so very intentional with everything that, like, once you figure out how to make something work in one track, it's just auto-magically carried over into the next track. I don't like, I remember listening through a bunch of stuff of yours after I randomly popped into like a Discord chat with you and Roku like last year or something. And I remember thinking this, that you've got a certain level of mastery at your disposal already, and like a really good understanding. You just hear it. You just hear it. So I love your stopping points with filters. It's super tasty. And why haven't you released this? You finished it a month ago. Still debating for releasing it. Yeah, release it. Yeah. Yeah, it was like in the metaverse or something. We just randomly dropped into a call. And then I went down the rabbit hole on your stuff. But it's always good. It's really tasty. And yeah, you should release it. And yeah, you shouldn't really touch this. And big ups again for the last sign. Is this your only artist persona? I mean, I hear what you're saying, and if you're not quite sure, it is, and you kind of want to keep it that way, don't you? Is everything that you're releasing simply for listening pleasure, or are you like maintaining a like a licensing portfolio? Yeah, yeah. I feel you. I hear you. Not really. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, if your gut is telling you to keep it close to your chest for the time being, then do that. But because I know that you're working hard on like image and brand. You guys, how in the world are we supposed to get through all of these? You just keep bringing heat. Merit. Well, it doesn't do you justice just to not. It's the right spelling here. Oh my goodness, what am I doing here? All right, Merritt, you're up. And we just learned that you are what? Your neighbors with Rockham? Is that right? This one's called Deep, and it says Ramstein here with the ram. That's awesome. Martin, thank you for bringing it. Merritt, are you around? I'm not sure if you are right now. This is good though. I like the movement, man. The layers of movement. Um, yeah, I don't really have a lot to pick apart here, man. Those plugs in the background were great. Like the timing and the detuned nature, it was just really nice. Um, yeah, love the intro, like the breakdown. Enjoyed that bass. Um, there you are. There you. I think Martin wants your bass. Oh, you just missed it. We just listened. Poop. No, it's good. I was just saying, like, I don't really have a whole lot to critique on this one. I like the aesthetic, the mood, the delivery, the builds. Like, there's a couple of spots where, like, maybe just a tad more separation, a little tighter EQ, but like nothing to go back in and like start digging deep on. Um, I was also commenting on the plucks, those background plucks in the latter part of the song are just great. The timing and the detuned nature of them was just incredibly satisfying. Um, really good stuff. Now I just want to hear more. I want to hear more. And are you and Rockhound gonna connect? And any chance there's some collaborations in the future? Well, there you go. Look at that. Some sound swapping. Maybe. Nice, nice. Okay, cool. I will keep my eye out for that. But yeah, I don't have anything. I don't have anything big for you on this one. That's a couple like in a row now. Really, really solid. Nice work, you guys. Hmm. Not sure. This one is called Overstress. And not sure it's saying, unlike the Prog House Techie remix I submitted before, the song is my true to my style. Glitchy, warm, melancholic, beat-centric IDM stuff. Still working on figuring out the vocals, how they should sound. I want to use them, how I want to use them, etc. All right, cool. Let's listen to this. I'm a sucker for kalimba. Ooh, that subtle double backing vocal. Get it. Not sure. This is fantastic. This is a really good one. It is totally different, and I really, really like it. I think a little bit tighter EQ might help some of your sound design elements and transition moments and stuff pop just a little bit more with clarity. Because I do think that there are some frequencies that are kind of colliding or competing here and there, so it does kind of obfuscate the delivery here and there. But by and large, like everything is being heard. The mood is great. The aesthetic is fantastic. Love your use of noise and texture in this thing throughout. Um, Love the detuned nature of the kalimba and the the randomization approach to the melodic stuff. Um, just the whole left to center timbre aesthetic is always big in my book. So yeah, people are loving this. Bass is amazing, texture's dope, so pleasant, pattern is trippy, love the colors. Um, yeah, this is a win. And I love what you did with the vocals too. I like how subtle so much of it was because like plenty of lean in moments. Not enough of those in today's music. Nice, thanks. Yeah, this definitely needs some detailed EQ to finish it off. Whole album in the works though, so lots to do. There always is. Yeah, I think, just a little bit of EQ, maybe some multiband compression on a couple of things instead of just plain, static across the board compression. Little things. Little things. Finishing touches. Um, Saturation. Finishing saturation. Zirconium, welcome in. How you doing, homie? Happy Friday to you. Appreciate the follow. I see you mean. You are up. Oh man, why are we still? All right, here we go. This one's called Lisburger. This is solid. This is solid. It's a really satisfying track. Grim back up, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. That first snare hit was super thin because of the filter sweep. I kind of feel like maybe just leave that one out. Or start with just a slightly more open filter. One of the two. It felt just a little bit off. The high frequency metallic stuff could use a little more separation around 130, which is pretty indicative of and the eagle call as well. So it's pretty indicative of just compression just being a little bit heavy on the mix. So back off of that, and it's going to leave more room between your sounds, because like the bird call should feel kind of distant because you're not really close to that bird, right? And the metallic stuff should feel like it's pretty close to the surface, but the pad maybe shouldn't feel like it's as close to those metallic elements. You know what I mean? So maybe just a little bit more separation between the individual elements, not just in perceived loudness, but also pan position, and that will help to kind of create those different levels of separation for the different elements in the mix. And I think that something like a shot that you're going to recall multiple times throughout a mix like this, especially one that's more on the iconic side of things, I'd vary it maybe just a couple of times. You know, you might use it a total of 8 or 10 times in the mix, maybe stutter or glitch or reverse 2 of them. You know what I mean? Just to kind of make people guess which one's going to happen next. They're all going to be pretty satisfying because they're the right frequency at the right time. Just kind of changing those like small little things like that. And then just in general, across the board, things felt really good. I think that the EQ work in a couple of spots could be either a little bit more forgiving or a little bit tighter. There were a couple of spots where I was like, oh man, if there was just a tiny bit more of the mid-lows exposed here, I think it would give me some feels, right? So like maybe if there was some long form modulation on filters or EQ cut positions, right? Where like over a period of say like 8 or 16 bars, you slowly disclose like a couple hundred hertz or something like that going down, or maybe a couple thousand hertz going up on the other side or something like that, right? Just to kind of vary the delivery and defeat expectations, right? Allow people to kind of discover what comes next instead of having it be really predictable. And then I think that's the bulk of the stuff that really stands out. Cause I like the appeal of everything else. I like what you're doing, and I like the palette that you put together. Give an example of what? Sorry, of like a shot being reversed or something, or like stuttered. The filter automation out. I like the filter automation on this stuff. I think that anything that's going to add the you know, the feeling of motion or change over time is a benefit in the track. Okay, yeah, so the mid-low, oh yeah, so like how to automate that, like, okay, so if we had an EQ, let's just grab an EQ here, and what I would do is, let's say that, you know, some of your elements were fairly throttled in a band like this for a period right before there's a greater reveal later. So what I'm saying is like maybe there's a little bit of automation on this where it could even start a little bit higher, and maybe over the course of like 16 bars or so, it might come all the way down to here and come up, right? And up here might come down just a little bit and come back up or something. But just small amounts of movement like that over time can do a lot. You'd be really surprised at just how much difference like how much difference it can bring just through the commingling of frequencies alone. Just the way in which it's participating with the other sounds in the mix. Can we always send things for feedback in the channel? Yeah, you can, and people in the community will listen and respond too, which is nice. We can't always get to everything. There are some times where we have to like leave someone hanging or something. But I didn't do streams last week, so we're running over by quite a bit today. can get to. Yeah, Eric, I think that's it on that one. I hope that it vibes with you to make it even better. And it looks like, we normally stop at 1, and we've still got several to get through here, so I think we'll do your second one next time around too. My ears are going to be fatigued here in a bit. I don't want to start giving you guys rotten advice. So. All right, visor music. Go up. And I don't know why I keep... All right. All right, here we go. This one's called Nope.
They said it was a product balloon, so make your pops. That shit ain't never made sense to me. And tonight I heard a ghost make a sound I ain't never heard a horse make.
What did you see?
That's big.
How big?
Big.
What did it look like?
It was fast. Too fast. Too quiet to be playing.
OJ, are you saying what I think you're saying?
Thank you, Stefan. You got it.
I went back and scripted the footage, and that cloud has been right there at least since I set the cameras up. Yeah, now you mention it. I'll probably be looking at the same damn cloud every day for the next 6 months.
What happened?
It ain't the man. It ain't the mom.
It's alive, Em. It's an animal. It's territorial. And it thinks that this is its home.
Camera B is down.
What?
Camera B is down.
It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud.
Uncle Jay! It's in the car! Run, OJ! Run!
Ooh, man. Jolsino? Welcome in. Jolsino? I don't want to butcher your name. Welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Visor. There's a couple of things on this one. LUFS. Separation comes with the LUFS reduction. I'm not sure we've ever actually fully been able to cover up the gazelle when music is playing back, and I really didn't hear the gazelle come through when it played. So I feel like you should get a donut for that or something. Like there should be some kind of pin or award or something that you can get for that. The LUFs are huge, so I'd definitely bring it down. And I'm looking for a valley floor. Now, there doesn't have to be like this ultimately quiet, super subtle moment, but there should be this moment where you've just got like that atmospheric soup cooking, that the peak of that should be down here. Like I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to zoom in my whole screen here on this waveform. See if it'll do it. Okay. So right here, I would like to see, whoa, what's going on there? There we go. I think there should be the peak of just that atmospheric soup should be down here somewhere. So you gotta reduce the LUFs by a fair bit. These feel pretty big. I mean it's a heavy genre. I would aim for like neg 10 LUFs on this. The streaming platforms are going to turn it down to neg 16. I don't know that I would bounce it much more below that. I think a lot of people would bounce this at like neg 6 or so, and I think it might be better at like a neg 10. It's mostly just about the separation, so you can adjust some of the stuff in the volume mix. All that said, this is freaking huge. It's a huge track. Okay, so the other thing, the EQ work, is just going to be separation. It's just going to be going in, removing what you can from the low frequencies and the mids predominantly, a little bit from the highs where you can in each one of your sounds. You're not looking to suck away any of the life force or like the in that sound that made you gravitate toward it to begin with. But you do want to leave as much possible space for the sounds next to it in the mix as possible. And this should do it. Yes, soup. We like our soup here. The most LUFs award of the day, I think. Mr. Jexy, I love you. My cam is frozen. Really? Oh, well, shoot. At least you can hear me. Here, let me fix it for you really quick. Properties. Da 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 da. And I'm back. Slap my camera. All right, that's it. Bing Bong McGee, which is a great name, by the way. Not that like you need validation from other people on it or anything, but it's great. Yeah, let's do this. Bing Bong McGee is saying, started messing around with Proto 7 months ago and been trying to hone in on some ambient atmospheric stuff that would fit in a game, overworld or D&D campaign. Okay, cool. Liquid Snow 1.5. You are welcome, Pfizer. Hope it all vibes with you. Make it even better. This is super chill. Cheers, homie. This is quite lovely. You know, I'm going to talk over the top of it for just a second here. I think some saturation, like as a finishing touch here, is largely all this is missing. Martin, you take care, homie. Big love. Enjoy the weekend. Stay inspired over there. Heidi's falling in love over here. A great track. Yeah, I'm going to give you the feedback as this is playing. EQ. That's the biggest thing here. Don't step on any of the sounds, but you can tighten up just a tiny bit here and there, mostly on the low end, with individual elements. Saturation to really make this whole thing hum, though. Nothing overly gritty, just like some nice warm tube. That's good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, when I say finishing saturation, I'm not saying like just, you know, slap a plugin on there, set it to 3 dB gain or something and just walk away. I'm talking like ride the knob as this thing's playing out, write some good automation curves for it, right? So at certain points, there's like a swell of energy, and make the emotional connections, those emotional moments happen. And you can kind of force them by feeding more energy into the mix. And if you're doing it with saturation, then what that does is it generates more harmonics across the frequency spectrum, right? So I think that you could make this whole thing have kind of this life force that's, you know, growing, breathing, undulating. There's just some movement, and it's going to add a sense of greater change over time and evolution, and just a life force. I think you'd find it really, really nice. I'm muted? Are you serious? You guys can't hear me? I mean, I see my meter moving. You can't hear me. You heard all that. Okay. Keto, I think you're muted. All right, let's move on to the next one. That was good. This is very close to like release ready. I mean, you could release it right now and it'd be great. I think that if you were to go one step further with it, it would be it'd be something like that, like some nice saturation swells. You bet. Thanks for bringing it in. Raider Health, you are up, and this one is called Reprise. Let's check it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me try something different.
Yeah.
Your friends know better than me, so why are you listening to heathens? I could give you a reason, and I can't think of one you'd believe in. I know you've been through a lot, so I'm just trying to give you your time. I wish you line up with mine. That's just how it works, that's fun. I think I'm fucked up in the head. Some days I wish I was dead. These pills love calling my name. I'm calling yours instead. I'm calling yours instead. I know I'm fucked up in my mind. You don't care, but I'm trying. I wish my thoughts were all mine. I've got too much on the line. You're all I want in life. This life, next life, so what? So if you go, then I'm gone. So if you go, then I'm gone. I'm still holding on. I know I was right. I told you I'm sorry, and you tell me so long, 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 so long.
This was good. I like this. There was some stuff that was holding it back, but I like this. It's got there's some original stuff in here. Um it's not that far off from being complete too. So let's run through this really quick. The subs are heavy. They're too heavy. They have too many low frequencies, so roll it up a good 25 hertz or so. Bring it all the way up to like 50-ish. Stick that bass in mono so it's not stepping out to the sides at all. And you might want to set up some ducking through some side chain compression that could help between, when that bass pops off and like, one of these lower frequency elements like a pad, okay, or some keys. You can hear that the mix kind of breaks up in a few different points, and some of it is within the aesthetic that you want to maintain, and some of it is just straight obfuscation and phase cancellation and stuff. So rolling up those subs is really going to help. Switching the bass to mono is really going to help. And then I think going through each element in the mix, spending a little bit of time on the EQ, like I was saying in the track previous, just roll off as much of the low end as you can. Take a little bit of the highs off if you can. Make sure you're doing this while the sound is soloed, so you're hearing all of the changes that you're making. See if you can dip a little bit out of the mids, and then listen to it in context and see if you're able to hear the whole thing still the way that you want it to. And every single sound as you go through, each time you move on to the next one, you're going to hear greater and greater clarity. So when you get through the end of this re-EQ process, you'll need to adjust the loudness of your individual tracks probably, because you'll have much more energy to distribute throughout your track. And then all of the intentional like fuzziness and obfuscation and stuff, that can really shine. All of those elements will really feel part of it, rather than feeling like something is missing from it. So that's that. Let's see what other people are saying here. Some Saint Germain vibes. Oh yeah, the gotcha-gasm from that change-up, Bing Bong McGee. Andremia says, vocals boost mids a bit. Vocals feel a touch harsh compression. Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the low end in this track and everything else competing with it. So I think catching up with that side of the mix first is the first thing to attend to, and then go back and reassess things like, should you be boosting the vocals? An EQ boost in the mids might be a little hard because I'm not sure if the processing is baked into those vocals. That kind of sounds like it. So yeah, attend to the low end and the EQ stuff first. Roku would likely be throwing things. Yeah. Mr. Jexy, you are up. This one is called Inward Lust.
Mr. Jexy Beat. Mr. Jexy Beat. Mr. Jexy Beat.
Poker chirpin' chips. Say that 10 times fast. Okay, so ducking in that intro segment where the guitar was still in the loop or in the duck chain felt it was clashing, so maybe just leave the guitar out. It didn't feel the same once the guitar was out, so it may have just been that. Second time through this whole thing, I would definitely toss some changes in there. The LUFs are a bit high. Like, I think it's a little bit louder than it needs to be, but the first thing that you should do is bring down the bass. You can bring other things down around it, but the bass just doesn't need to be that loud, that driven. And the kick has enough sub frequencies and a sharp enough transient that this thing will be making people blink like mad. So take out a bunch of the sub on the kick. If anything is going to make you blink in the mix, it should probably be a snare, but we're not doing hip hop here. So, and then a little bit more stereo distance between the synth and the guitar. And if the guitar or the synth is going to solo, the other one should come down a bit. So just a little bit of volume automation throughout the track to start making a few changes so the elements have, prioritization management, right? So as things should take a lead, they come up and they move a little bit, that kind of thing. Poker chirps. It's hilarious. I was thinking some more stereo on the guitar, like, yeah, and just just trying to find a way to help those two things be a little bit more cooperative and a little less competitive. They're very close in proximity and distance, but they're also very close in loudness level, and they're also very close in the register as well, right? So just trying to find the ways to create the separation. You guys, I had no idea that even more were added. We've just gone over by about an hour, so I'm going to punt these to next Friday. Whoever wants to provide feedback in the public feedback channel, of course, between now and then can. And you guys freaking killed it again. Another really, really great Friday. Y'all are freaking rock stars. This is amazing. We definitely have the best feedback Fridays on Twitch. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm obviously not sitting here and watching other streams though right now, so. but it sure feels like it. Okay. Here's your homework. Don't forget to download free sounds if you're subbed to the channel. Next is start thinking about what terribly awful and great public domain movie from the past we can enjoy during a holiday watch party while I chop dialogue from it. And that's it. That's your homework for the weekend. That's it. We should go raid someone. Because I got a boogie. Raid Zero's playing. Oh, and Cardio is playing. My goodness. What are we going to do here? Let's go say hi to Liv. She's only got 2 people there. But please go visit Raid Zero SF. Raid Zero SF. He's fantastic. He's a wonderful human being and absolutely deserves your views and support. Cardio Party is who we're going to go visit. She's big time party. Family and a party all in one stream. How about that? I can't talk anymore. Been doing this too long. I appreciate you guys. Big love. I'll see you on the flip. Bye.